What's up, Buck fans? AJ Turn up here with the Bucks. The Bucks report the aftermath on 102.9 Game Broad Street South Radio. The football season is officially over. Your Kansas City Chiefs are the Super Bowl winners, so congrats to them getting there. But we got a lot of shit to talk about because not all is what it seems. And I know the Super Bowl did not have your Bucks, but I'm gonna tell you something. Your Bucks played a big part in this whole situation, and I cannot wait to break it down. So stay tuned. Get yourself a drink, get yourself some popcorn, some chips, light a cigar, because we got to talk about a lot of shit tonight.
That was awesome. That was f***ing awesome.
What's up, guys? As again, it's always awesome, and I have to start that video off because you know why? That is your GOAT. Again, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. That's cool. Hey, Mahomes got 3 rings, but I had to bring that up, guys. But again, welcome again, AJ Turn up here. Our co-host Slick, the British guy who's always fly is on standby. But we're going to get there. He's going to be here in a minute, and we're going to chop it up. But I had to put that out there because that is the actual GOAT. Buck fans, you know this, and just people who are fans of football, that is the real GOAT. Now, again, Chiefs won the Super Bowl. That's cool. Now they're talking dynasty. Now they're doing all this shit. They're bringing them up and hyping them. But I want to remind you guys, I want to remind the Buck fans out here, you should feel good. You know why? Because we literally changed history in football. I'm going to tell you why. That's what your Buccaneers did. That's what your Tampa Bay Buccaneers did to the almighty powerful Mahomes. Did not get a touchdown. Ran for his life. We put him on his back. Threw 2 picks. Brady and the offense had their way. Fournette ran all over them. That is true Buck power right there. We stopped history. We literally stopped the fucking three-peat. And it's no history. The Bucs did it before with the Patriots in the 2002 season. It just seems like when the Buccaneers are on things, we know how to change the shift of history in a good way. So I say all this for all you other people out there. This ain't just for Buck fans. Look, Buck fans, clearly, we are the last hope to stop this onslaught and this tyranny of the Kansas City Chiefs. Because I'm going to be, for me personally, they get on my damn nerves. I feel like they're a bunch of diva whining ass babies that have been so engulfed by the media and protected by a lot of refs with calls, which we'll get into later. I just think now they've just become a bunch of, dickheads now, divas and crybabies. But I'm here to tell you, the 49ers lost that game because of so many reasons. Again, a lot of people owe Cam Newton an apology. When that man said when he was talking to you guys about being a game manager quarterback, y'all took it as an insult, not realizing most quarterbacks in the NFL were game managers. And we got Slick in the house. We were just waiting for you. Bottoms up.
Yeah. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. I feel good about a lot of things. Again, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, but I want you to know, did you know, Slick, that the Bucs stopped history? We always change things because, 49ers couldn't do it, but we did this.
Oh, yeah.
We put him on his ass.
It really does solidify what the Bucs did to the Chiefs. The more that it's like the worst part is that the Chiefs keep winning, but the best part is that it means we're the only team to have ever beaten them in the Super Bowl. And it's kind of like that Yeah, but we beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and that's like a claim you can put that we stopped my homeboy.
And not only that, we dominated him. He never had a chance. And this is not the first time, Slick, that our beloved Bucs stops history. We did it back in 2002 against the Patriots. We kept them from being three-peats. So I say this, Buck fans, and Slick, I'm standing on this. Your Buccaneers are your only hope against the tyranny of the Kansas City Chiefs. We are the best
Coach Bowles.
Coach Bowles. Not only that, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Vita Vea, Levante David, Antoine Winfield, and hopefully Baker Mayfield. We are the last line of your defense. So for the media out there, put your faith in this Buccaneers team. I don't give a damn what nobody says. Nobody has dominated Mahomes like your Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
And you should be thankful and proud of that. Now, it was a crazy game, but Slick, they need to listen to us. The 49ers did not follow the rules that Slick and I literally, guys, if you go check out again the Bucs, the Aftermath on 102.9 Game Broad Street South Radio a few weeks ago, we discussed what the 49ers needed to do to win this game. And unfortunately, they did not listen to us.
Nope.
Shanahan pulled this against Slick. History repeated itself.
At least it's not as embarrassing as the last one, I guess. I think that's the only thing you can say.
It's still bad.
Losing a game when you're only 10 up, with someone like Mahomes, you can, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. However, it's 2 times he's punched the ticket and 2 times he's walked away from it with no confetti falling on him. So there's going to be some doubt there as can this guy actually fucking do it?
No, he's a fraud. And he's doing something unlike his dad. He can't win even with the loaded roster. The great Kyle Shanahan Sr., he took care of business when he had Terrell Davis, John Elway, Rod Smith, Terrell Davis, when he had Atwater and those guys. At least he knew how to win with great players. Kyle Shanahan Jr. cannot. This is twice. You played with a prime Matt Ryan. You had a prime Julio Jones. You had a solid running back.
Smith, who was pretty solid back in the day. On that year, he was probably one of the better running backs in football. He's a top 5 running back in that year, I think.
And yet, he failed again. He is. It's so many things
as well.
Yeah, and I'll say this because it's a lot of things that we got to go over in this Super Bowl. But I want to start with coach. It's simple. The better coach was Andy Reid by far. Shanahan did not adjust. In a way, Shanahan turned into Todd Bowles in the middle of the season, not adjusting, stuck on stupid, and eventually you gave your defense.
I think the biggest problem they had. The problem is he was happy to just keep giving the Christian McCaffrey the ball any which way, and it made them so one-dimensional. Like I get it, running. We did say running the ball, but I have to say that defensive front from the Kansas City was better than expected on the day. So I don't think you could have run the ball to death against this team. However, Christian McCaffrey gets 80 yards rushing with an average 3.6, which is decent. It's not great. It's not something you're going to write home about. But then receiving the ball, he also gets 80 yards and a touchdown. And everyone else besides that literally hardly has a thing.
Mm-hmm. And what's the irony of the whole thing about it, Slick, that gets me as a 49er is Shanahan. You literally are on an organization, a franchise that fucking introduced you to the West Coast offense in Bill Walsh with the dink and dunks to set up the long plays. Now, Slick, we both brilliantly said, don't make Brock Purdy be something he's not.
George Kittle with 4 yards, dude. 4 fucking yards. That's criminal.
That's criminal. And every time Ayuk came out with a run play, it was always an intermediate to deep route. It took too much time for the plays to develop. Slick, we said this. Run the ball, fucking dink and dunk the shit. Keep Mahomes off the field. And you could have blown this team out. When they were up 10, I'm thinking, they're following a formula. They did not. Why, Shanahan? Brock Purdy is not Mahomes. He's not a guy that can read defenses that well. And I'm going to say this, and I'll save this for later, but Slick, I'm an offensive-minded genius. I say what I say. Spagnolia would not want to fuck with my offensive scheme. I would dominate that shit. And for a guy like Kyle Shanahan, this is why I say this. You know, Spagnolia, to me, he's a poor man's Todd Bowles because his blitzes are obvious. It's not disguised that well. It's just simple. He sticks with what he got. Why did not Shanahan? This is where George Kittle would have eaten with me. This is where Debo or Ayuk would have been killing the yak. If you know he's going to blitz because you know where it's coming from, why don't you have someone in a short route, shallow route situation where he is the guy where, hey, if they blitz, here you go.
You're almost like a check down. You'd have a check down. If you see the blitz, you automatically put one of the wide receivers to kind of run in the direction of where the blitz is.
Yes. You have to have a security blanket. Anytime when he blitzed, the play took too long to develop. Purdy he's not experienced or seasoned enough yet to get.
I thought he played pretty well though. To be fair, I give him a hats off for the way he played.
I say he played good, but you had to be great that night. When
you're yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing with this offense is it kind of goes to what Cam Newton said about a game manager or whatever.
Yes.
But he didn't lean on the pieces around him.
He did not, and that's all.
I think that's by design. I think that was not him. I think that was the way the game was bought.
Oh no, that was Shanahan completely. He tried to make Purdy into Mahomes, and that's all Cam was saying. Oh, a lot of people owe Cam an apology, Slick. The thing is, they just didn't like who it was coming from, but he never said a game manager was bad. He said,
"No, I would put game manager as a good thing because it means a manager. Just the word itself. Word manage means to control, to manipulate, to take control of.
Yep.
To say that you're a game manager, that means you're a game manipulator, a game controller, a game. You're in charge. You're in control.
That's right.
Good game managers control the ebb and flow of the game.
That's right.
He's probably a good game manager, but not a great game. Like Tom Brady's the ultimate great game manager. He also had a bit of arm to him.
Yeah.
And I think this is like you look at Patrick Mahomes now is way more of a game manager than he ever was.
Yes, he was. And he had to because he understood I can't rely on everybody, especially he knew when losing Tyreek Hill, it hurt. But here's another thing where I tell people this. It's not just Mahomes. One thing that I can say that the Chiefs did do very well, their defense got better. In a way, they're essentially copying the Patriots method. Okay, we won't have as many offensive weapons that we're used to.
We'll load up on defense.
We'll load up on defense, and Mahomes knows how to be a game manager and a game. He can turn the switch on to be a game.
Yeah, you saw that. As soon as I think that if they didn't get those 3 points at the end of the half, I think they would have been done.
Yes.
Honestly, that 3 points kept them in it within the conversation, and they came back out with a completely different mantra, a completely different attitude, and a completely different. And it took the Niners a while to adjust. And by the time they adjusted, it was too late and it's gone to overtime.
It was I agree. Guys, Slick he just said that in a nutshell. That was excellent. By the time, and this is why I know people are like, damn, they talking about the Chiefs and the 49ers. It all correlates back to the Buccaneers, baby, because it's the same shit that Slick and I used to get angry at Bowles about. Yeah, you adjusted, brother, but it was too late, coach. By the time you get it right, you and Canales got it right, we would be like, yeah, but it's 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter and you're down by 10. It's really hard to come back like that when you're not built to make comebacks. And despite as loaded as that 49ers roster is, they're not built necessarily to make a comeback because Purdy is not that guy. And we've said this, Slick, and I've said this before, when your weakest link is your quarterback, that is a problem. That could be a major problem because if he gets flustered, it doesn't matter if you have a good receiver or George Kittle.
I didn't think he was that flustered. I just don't think he was ready for the day. I wouldn't be surprised if we still keep talking about Brock Purdy in 10 years' time. I honestly wouldn't. I think he's got the skill set there, but he needs to keep working at it. And I think maybe this was just a step too soon. You got to remember this kid was fucking nobody last year, and all of a sudden made a shit ton of plays. And if it weren't for injury, could have be going to another title game or what have you. And it just came out. It came out different, right? This
Oh,
year's the
absolutely.
full year for him, and he takes it to where them to. And as we say, he takes them. They went together because it was more of a.
Yeah.
I don't think he led the team. I think the team collectively worked together to get to the Super Bowl. I think
Oh,
that's the.
absolutely.
Whereas
You're right.
Mahomes leads the team to a Super Bowl, I would say Brock Purdy is one of few leaders that helps his team get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Last year, the 49ers would have won because the Chiefs wouldn't have had enough film on him. But once they got used to him, like you said, they adjusted and adapted to his skill. That's why last year was, to me, it was a tragedy for the 49ers. If they had Brock, they win it all. But like you said, they had film on Brock. They knew his weaknesses. And Spagnuolo, and I tell people this, Spagnuolo called a good game because he played to what he knew that Brock wasn't prepared for. I tell you this, if Spagnuolo, you see when he tried to do that shit against Brady in the Super Bowl, we made him fail. We made him pay dearly. How many times Brady in the Super Bowl, when he saw, oh, they're going to blitz, we're just going to toss that shit to Cameron Brate. We're just going to toss that shit to Gronk. Oh, we're just going to do short passes. Oh, you want to blitz? We'll run the ball down your throat with Fournette. It's all about knowing who you're.
I think when you come back to our Super Bowl, I think the offense didn't help out their defense. I think the defense couldn't get it going, which means they were free and out in. They're wearing their own defense. They're wearing their defense out. They can't make plays. They're dejected, and it all adds up. And then on top of that, you've got Bowles doing his thing and completely harassing the quarterback. You got, and we'll go back to this, probably Bruce Arians doing his thing and making sure the shit's tight. I would say the underappreciated MVP of that Super Bowl is Leonard Fournette.
Oh, hands absolutely.
If Leonard Fournette didn't play, if Leonard Fournette was not on the Buccaneers team, we would not have won that game. But it would have been at least been a much closer.
I think it'd
have been a much tougher affair because he just took that running game to the next level. You know, we shouldn't have been able to be as dominant as we were with the run with him.
Well, that's why Bruce Arians was the genius of that, because remember, we always talk about how in the beginning Fournette was upset about not being used. Arians he was playing the game of chess. He said, "No, Fournette, I want you well and healthy and fit when the playoffs come, because that's when it matters." Slick, you've always eloquently put it this way. Teams who try to rely on the run in the playoffs, usually that shit don't work for them 95% of the time, because you're right, because your best back is worn down. Fournette was fresh. That's why he was beating up their defense. Fournette even
hungry.
Yes, I think they
came to town to get a championship. So when the championships hit him, he was ready to go. That's why people like Antonio Brown were ready to go, because they knew that could be their only opportunity to get a ring in their career, potentially. Yeah.
Oh, I agree 100%. A lot of those guys knew what was on the line, and Brady said something about honor and history, and those guys played to that level. And like you said, Fournette, he even said those guys by the fourth quarter, he said when he scored that touchdown, they didn't want to tackle him. And in a way, you could see it. But Marpet, when he came out with that, one of the greatest calls I've ever heard is when the commentator said, Fournette. That's when I knew, Slick, we were winning this game. I said, oh, yeah, the game's over. But like you just said, I think what made the Bucs so great, guys, is that we were balanced not only just on the offensive side, but the defensive side. And Bowles, the coach that y'all are shitting on right now, that was a master class clinic scheme that he put. And he exposed, in a way, in my personal opinion, Bowles exposed Kelsey to show you he is, what Slick says, a slot wide receiver, because that was the game where if he was so good, block for him. They couldn't, because Andy Reid knew.
My biggest gripe with Kansas City Chiefs fans when they turn around and go, yeah, but we had both our tackles out, and if both our tackles were playing. And I'm like, well, the rotating tackles that you got still got you to a fucking Super Bowl, so don't give me that shit. Second, there are things you can do to your team to help. We have Donovan Turnstile Smith. You now have him on your team. We had to put somebody on the side with him, usually Gronk or another tight end who could block, to help him out on occasion. It's called max protect. You didn't do shit. You didn't do any of that because you, unfortunately for you, he's also your best receiver, which means you're then you're taking away the safety blanket of Patrick Mahomes. And you didn't want to do that. Well, that's the price you pay. You've got to decide, are you going to protect him or are you going to give him his safety blanket that he can check down to? And what I would have done is I would have taken him to side going, Travis, you're not going to get the ball. It's not happening for you. Maybe later. I want you to protect your brother Mahomes. Protect him like your life fucking depends on it. And then once they get used to that, we'll adjust by sending you back out.
Exactly.
That would have been my game plan in that game. I got to go up to the second quarter and I'm like, right, he ain't catching a fucking cold. So let's leave it at that. But let's get his confidence up with a few blocks.
Yeah.
But let's get his confidence up with a few blocks and protect his boy. You know he loves Mahomes, so you know he's going to do it. Your assignment today, protect Mahomes, and then we'll leak you out in the passing game later on.
I agree, but you know what? It could have been. Here's the thing. You know how we sometimes say, Bowles, how you like to ask the why? Bowles sees certain things that we might not know. What if Andy Reid knows, oh, fuck, if Kelsey does try to block, he could be a liability. Those are potential holding calls, and it could get him injured because Kelsey is not. Yeah, but the reason why I say that, if you look at it, people think that
I think it's more like the fact that he's just a really, really, really good receiver, and that's why they would. You'd be kind of foolish not to, but at the same time, they still had Tyreek Hill. They still had all these other names on their roster. They were a loaded team back then. They're nowhere near, but on offense, they're nowhere near that team now.
Yeah, offensively, they were the number one team. That's why I tell people, go back. That Bucs defense, that Bucs team, the 2020 Bucs, not right now, but Slick, in another probably 10 years, we are going to be recognized as, wow, that team was special. Because look at all the people that the Bucs went through to get there. Again, the Saints. To be honest, Slick, if you go back and look at it, every team we played in the playoffs, except for the Washington team, we were underdogs. And even with the Washington Commanders, that shit was a 50-50 in some people's view. But everybody else, the Saints, underdog. Green Bay, underdog. Chiefs, big time. And here's the thing, Slick, when people talk about that tackle shit, I shut that up and nullify it because you know why? 95% of the people I talked to, Slick, they said, it doesn't matter. Mahomes is going to find a way. Oh, really? So he's just going to be a fucking mystical creature, huh? And just and then, well, look at the passes he was getting off even under the rest. You do know they were incomplete. That doesn't matter. That would be
man, I think that was the one thing the only thing about that Super Bowl when we played them, the thing that irritated me the most was, yes, it was impressive the way he moved out of the pocket, manipulated and did all these things. But they were like, oh my God, look at him throw a ball while he's jumping in midair, but it's an incomplete pass. So who gives a shit?
It was an incomplete. And here's the thing:
I can throw a ball while jumping in midair. Guess what? It's going to be incomplete.
Oh, and then
guess what? The result is exactly the same for when Mahomes does it to when I do it. So why are we going? Wow, why don't we come and sit and watch me play beach fucking football? And I'm fucking like that, and no motherfucker catches it because it's a shit pass. Because guess what? It doesn't fucking matter. It only matters if it's complete.
And exactly,
I've seen Jameis Winston on his ass throwing the ball as he's falling down, and the difference was his was incomplete. Jameis Winston's was picked off.
Yeah, but
that's the only difference.
Well, I've seen Jameis Winston throw the fucking ball with his left hand, and it was a completion. But it's all who it is.
What do they say? You turn around, oh, he's taking too many risks with the ball.
Exactly. And Baker Mayfield did it against the Bears when he was falling and threw it. And I'm like, that's got to be a top ESPN moment. No one said a peep about that shit. So people just got to stop slobbing and drooling over Mahomes. He got his ass whooped and call it what it was. He was dominated. And even Mahomes said that was the worst beatdown I ever felt. This is why, Buck fans, it always comes back to us. We are the last line of defense, Slick, and it makes me damn proud to know that our Buccaneers, it'd be different. We didn't barely beat them. It wasn't always no, it was a total ass whooping. I know people who said they cut the game off, Slick, because they said, yeah, I came here to watch a competitive game. I ain't came here to watch no ass whooping. Your Buccaneers did that. And I know I know this is crazy talking, but I'm gonna stand on this. Like, I'm gonna tell you this. You know what? You're 9-8 Buccaneers this season. Do you hear me? I'm about to the drum roll. They would have beaten this Chiefs team. Mark my fucking words. You know why? Baker is a better quarterback this season than Brock Purdy. I know people are saying, wow, AJ, but here's the thing. You just said it. The talent around him helped. We're not saying he's a bad guy, but here's the thing. Here's the reason why I think the Bucs would have won this year. Baker would have played like himself. Baker would have been the guy to throw short passes or take off when it's necessary. He would have been able to see Spagnolia's blitzing schemes, and he would have made them pay for it. And here's the thing. I know this is crazy talking, but I think the Bucs defense would have done a better job because Bowles would have been able to disguise blitzes better. But I just think the X factor is that Baker would have been better off than Purdy. Baker has been here before. He would have seen it. He would have been able to pick up on it. And I know I could be, if you disagree, Slick, please say so. But the way that I saw how
we don't know because we ain't seen it happen. But yeah, I can like with everything that you've said, I can definitely see that that's a possibility. But that's the thing. Make no mistake, this Buccaneers team went top four was a top four team in the NFC. We were points away from beating, and there's an argument made that game could have been won, right? An argument made that game could have been won.
Yes.
That gives you a very different outlook on how the games go. These playoff games, it's called knockout football, right? That's what it is. It's you lose, you're out.
Yep.
There's no redos, there's no whatever. The beauty of those games is, I wouldn't say anybody has a chance, but that more the epitome of every dog has his day, all that kind of thing. That happens. There was no way. Let's cast our mind back a few years ago. Nobody, absolutely nobody, saw the Cincinnati Bengals making the Super Bowl.
Nope.
And even during the playoffs, every single round they went through, it was they'll get knocked out in the next round. They'll get knocked out in the next round. They'll get knocked out in the next round. And they did. Because playoff football is so fucking tight. Sometimes the underdog wins. Sometimes they don't. When it comes to the Super Bowl, they got an extra week of preparation because you have the Pro Bowl week in between.
Mm-hmm.
It is dialed the fuck in, and everything fucking matters. Because let's face it, the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship's nice, but it's not the championship. Because nobody talks about it, right? No one goes, oh, wow, look at them hoist the Lamar Hunt or the George Halas Trophy, which look identical, so there's no real difference in them. It's a great accolade to have, but it does not matter. If you sit next to a guy like Jim Kelly and go, wow, what are all those rings? Well, this was when I won the Lamar Hunt Trophy. This was when I won the Lamar Hunt Trophy. This was where I won the Lamar Hunt Trophy. And this is when I won the Lamar Hunt in a row. And they'll go, wow, how'd you do in the Super Bowl? Nothing.
And in a way, you get
the Super Bowl supersedes it because it is the ultimate championship.
Absolutely.
It's like the undisputed championship, right? You've got the NFC Championship. That's great to have, but no one cares. How many players do you see wear an NFC Championship? They get a ring. People know this?
Yes, they
get a ring for winning the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship. No one wears them because it's almost embarrassing. I won't say I wouldn't know personally because obviously I don't have one. No one wears them because it means you lost a Super Bowl. If you wear an NFC or an AFC Championship ring, it means you lost the Super Bowl.
It's like
you wear the Super Bowl ring over there, wouldn't you? You ain't gonna fucking hold up.
It's literally like this, man. It's like if it's like thinking you got the baddest chick, and then her friend is badder, and now you're sitting there with the ugly one compared to her. So now you thought you was doing something, and
I love it when we do these analogies. They always make me smile.
But that's how it is. You're right on that. Nobody gives a fuck about the AFC or NFC title. If anything, it's a slap to say, "Oh, you're the guy that almost won it. You almost."
That's what it means. It means if you wear your AFC or NFC championship, it means you accepted second place.
You accepted second place. Oh shit! Here we go. Rick is in the. We got Rick. He was in the house. Hold on. We got
Hold on.
No.
I gotta fix this.
I was about
didn't
to
know
say,
it
we got a
automatically
doppelganger
came up
in here?
with. It
He's so
automatically
handsome.
came up. I don't even know how I fixed this thing.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, Slick. That's
Are
your
you can't go on camera?
No.
Okay,
Slick, you got
log out, log back in, and then go turn your camera off, and then change it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I defaulted it. I must have accidentally defaulted by changing mine.
Slick,
All
you
right.
got that's that IG honey look right there. You like, I got 10,000 followers. I
believe there's a bottle of booze in the hand, and I'm like,
yeah, but you look like, hey, if you don't get 200 follows in the next 10 minutes, you about to get mad.
do you like a bit of this as well? Do you like my
Hey,
the
man,
strip?
that's just dope. That's just dope. Look, hey, that's a cool look. Look, I do that as well, but you can't see mine a little bit. It gleams on the end. It gleams right here. You know what I'm saying? I got a little imaginary. I got Pixar on the back, and I got a little bit of Disney on the other side.
I go past the stripe when I go past my players.
Yes, but I feel what you're saying though, and this is why. Again, good Super Bowl, but you said it. The almost don't mean shit.
Defensive Super Bowl though, that game was fuck it. You could argue that game was boring, but if you didn't like defense,
oh no, the game was shit because here's why. When you watch that game against Slick, when they were up 10, I'm like, okay, they're doing things right because in the beginning they were doing their defense did their part. They kept this Chiefs offense in check, but unfortunately, Kyle Shanahan showed you that he's a fraud. He showed you he doesn't have what it takes to take it to the next level. And then when I saw the game, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, Slick, by the fourth quarter, I said, oh fuck, they're gonna lose. You know, my girl was like, you think so? I said, absolutely, because I'm like, they're not playing. Here's
my thing. This is where I went with it, and I think you're in the exact same mindset as me. I wanted the Niners to win. I believe the Niners can win, but never, ever. And I hate to say this, don't count out. It used to be don't count Tom Brady, right? Yeah. Now it's don't count out Patrick Mahomes because that Kermit little motherfucker. At some point, he is so fucking clutch. It's annoying.
Yes, it is, but I want Rick's I want him on here to hear this shit because the more that I watched it, the more I get disgusted because again, I'm a fan of football. I want football players to win because they do their best, but Nick Bosa was not lying, Slick, when he said the Chiefs do a lot of holding. I was watching that game and I was getting fucking irritated because I'm sitting here like, I get they want to so-called leave it out of the ref's hands, but they, in a way, ironically, they left it in their hands with the bullshit calls. It's just I find it ironic, Slick, that Donovan Smith is when he was with us one of the most penalized tackles, literally. Even with Brady, all of a sudden he goes to Mahomes. Now all of a sudden it drops and he's still doing the same shit. If you don't believe me,
I think he played better for us in the Super Bowl year and the year after.
I agree, but they still called.
Oh yeah, that's no bullshit.
So look, are you ready for some evidence? Because you know me, I like receipts. I'm a man. They used to call me AJ the receipt man. Peep this.
Here's Brady. Only a three-man rush this time. Going deep. Has Evans wide open. He's got it. Mike Evans, foot race. He's going to go. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. There's a penalty, though, back at the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Wow. It's on Donovan Smith, the left tackle. It takes away a 68-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that motherfucker does that. Now, peep this.
He literally tackled him to the ground.
Same guy, right? But all of a sudden, he doesn't get those calls. Now, and it was actually worse like when they was playing in Baltimore. He was holding literally every fucking play. I know people get on Lamar by throwing in the double coverage, but there was a play that play when he threw to the tight end, they literally knocked him. They pulled what the Bills did to Chris Godwin not Chris Godwin, but Otten, when they tackled him before he could try to get the ball. What I don't like is for this, it's in a way, it almost seems like shit was just designed to give them a better chance. I'm not putting it completely on there. I'm not going to be on my conspiracy.
Here we go.
No, Rick, you just saw the evidence, my man.
What, one play?
No.
I saw a play. One play.
No, Rick.
Did you see before the game? Before the game, they said this crew doesn't call many holding penalties.
I got 5 other videos that shows the same shit he was doing. And if you look at it, there's a play where Nick literally does a turnaround and they throw Donovan literally spears him and they don't call it.
I get that, but before the game started, they said when they were introducing the referee crew, they said this is a crew. You know, you go back and you look at each crew, and this crew does not call holding much. They said it before the game.
Here's my thing about that. When they say shit like that, that shows me they're in a way when they say, oh, we're not going to do it this way and we're not going to favor people, they actually are, because if you look at it, every time when the 49ers were making good strides, especially in overtime, they would call something that benefited the Chiefs. Now,
I get what drives me nuts is nobody can just say, wow, this team did good. It's never, wow, look at the good this team did. It's always, what's the conspiracy theory? Who do I blame?
It's not about blame, but it's just a football thing. Because if you go back, I just told Slick, go back and watch them in Baltimore. There were calls that were not made that if it was somebody else, you know that shit would be called. Again, when Donovan was with the Bucs, as great as Brady was, our offense had to overcompensate for a lot of shit that he would do.
But you're saying Brady didn't get the luck of the calls?
No, he did not. He did not.
Oh my God, the guy who has always been known for getting the luck of the calls.
There are plenty of
Rick, go back and look at our Super Bowl run. Besides the Commanders, we were always underdogs. We were never the chosen one to win shit.
Let me tell you, I will go back and look at that. You know what I'm going to realize? I'm not going to look at each game and say, oh, the other team blew it, or the other team did this wrong. I'm going to look and say, hey, look what we did right. Hey, look what we did to win the game. And I think that's what gets missed in situations like this. Listen, man, I'm tired of Kansas City, okay? But nothing but respect. The team, the organization did what it took to take home another Lombardi trophy. The referees didn't give it to him, okay? The kicker for San Francisco, okay, maybe. But nobody gave it to them. Okay, they did what they had to do. Don't underestimate the heart of a champion.
Oh, no.
They didn't have a great game, but damn it, they did good enough to win.
Oh, yeah, keyword. I like that you said good enough to win, but again, this is football, Rick. It wasn't as if the Chiefs didn't do what we did to them. Like nobody can say, oh, well, the Bucs were given that game against the Chiefs. No, we straight up whooped that ass. Which is why I love the Bucs. We both love we all love the Bucs.
It's beautiful that we did that in the Super Bowl.
No, but that's the beautiful thing. Slick and Rick, y'all both can attest to this. When we played in them 2 Super Bowls, they couldn't say, oh, the refs or we got bailed out. No, it was, when the Bucs went in there, that was just a straight up ass whooping on both games, both times.
You honestly believe that there are not fans out there that are blaming the 2 tackles, that are blaming the refs, that are blaming it was rigged by the NFL? Of course they are. We go through this every freaking time. It doesn't matter.
But Rick, those are the people that we silence. I told Slick already. I said, because I remember when
if you think football's rigged, just don't fucking watch it.
Yeah,
you'd be much happier. You'd be much happier because every time a result doesn't go your way, you're going to just blame that it's rigged. That's what you're going to do. I would have thought, and I'll be honest with you here, I would expect if the Super Bowl was actually rigged, that New York would have a few more fucking Super Bowls.
Yeah, in LA.
It wouldn't be the Patriots. It would be somewhere like New York. It would be somewhere, that can teams in California. It's certainly teams like the Eagles wouldn't have
The
recently just had a Super
Cowboys.
Bowl. The Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys. The Cowboys should have enough fucking credit in their fucking check, being America's team, that they can go. You need to script us another fucking Super. You need to script us a fucking Super Bowl. This has gone on long enough.
No,
but you see what I mean. Jerry Jones is going. Hang on a fucking minute. I'm America's team. You need to give me a fucking Super Bowl.
absolutely. No,
There's too much to be made not scripting it for them to risk it by scripting it.
Oh yeah, no, we're never. You will never hear me say, "Oh, it's 100." No, I would never say that. I'll just say this: sometimes public, we cannot say public.
Feels like it. Feels like it. I think
it doesn't help it because
you get that. Sometimes there's a refereeing call, and you think,
yeah, like
oh
really,
man,
yeah, like really, you call that shit on us or somebody else, but you don't call that for them. But again, every ref is not the same. So Rick, you got a point. They let them play, and we're not here to say that. It's just if you look at that game, the game. Oh, I said this already, Rick. No, Shanahan blew it because he didn't. He did. If you go back and watch Rick again, guys, you got to watch the Bucs Aftermath on 102.9 Game Broad Street South Radio. Rick, Slick, and I literally told Shanahan what to do to win this game. And if he does what we tell him, they walk away as champions. He tried to make Purdy be Mahomes, which was completely ridiculous. You should have done dink and dunk passes. He should have run the ball a different way. When he tried to get plays designed that took more than 3 seconds to develop, Spagnuolo ate him alive. And I said this again.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take the other side and say, instead of they should have changed these plays, I'm going to say, look what Spagnuolo did. Look at the things that they did to stop them. Look at the way that adjustments were made to change the defense when McCaffrey was able to run, then all of a sudden wasn't able to run.
My biggest gripe is they were just one-dimensional in the sense of everything kind of went through McCaffrey. And they were okay with that because they were like, okay, well, we'll let your one player squeak on by. And then we'll shut him down, and then you're going to be like, shit, my safety blanket's been fucked. I think it is really smart football that Spagnuolo did, in my opinion.
Yeah, he took out McCaffrey, and once McCaffrey was out, they couldn't
because they had so much success with him, so they were like, well, we had success with him before, so we're going to just keep ringing that bell because they did early on. They had a great ton of success with him, so they
made adjustments instead of saying then when San Francisco realizes, okay, they've made adjustments and running like that isn't going to work anymore. Now all I see is, oh, if I was coach, they'd be doing this. Oh, if I was coach, they'd be doing that. But you're not a coach. You're not. And this is the stuff that drives me nuts. Okay, you can say, hey, I think maybe this would work, or I think maybe that would work. But this belief that somehow your knowledge is better than theirs, it's not. I promise you, it's not. They're making decisions. They're 4 steps ahead of where you are and are coming to the conclusion that they're coming to. They're so good. They got their team to the Super Bowl. I mean, guys, none of us are in the league. Okay? I don't know. The lack of, I don't need to sit here and say, this is what San Francisco did wrong that caused this. I might look at it and say, wow, what did KC do that caused this?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can look at it from both sides, and that's why it makes a refreshing conversation. But look, if you're going to sit there and nitpick, we can all find something that team could have done better. The difference is, like, when you turn around and say, well, let's say for the sake of argument, we go down the route of like, oh, if they would have used more crossing routes, they would have had more success. Let's use that as an example. Right?
Why would we use that?
Why would we use that? But the difference being is that's not their normal game plan. So therefore, that will take some adjustment because that's something they've not seen before. So if a team runs lots of crossing routes, yeah, you're gonna adjust it. You're gonna have that as part of your game plan. If you add it in, it will take a moment for it to come in. And just remember, you can adjust. You can turn around to your players and go, right, guys, this is what they're doing. This is how they're doing it. You need to do this. It's still on the players to execute the adjustment.
Coach,
So,
I can't do that shit. I can't run with Debo. I can't run with Ayuk. I'm going to get burnt. As you said, it's like this, Rick, and I'm going to tell you this. 49ers were a far better team. They just weren't executing properly because of piss poor coaching. That's why, again, if you look at it, yes, we're happy that I'm not happy, but I'm with you. The Chiefs took advantage of what Kyle Shanahan should have done. But what I mean is, and Slick, you've seen this. You've seen where you're a coach. You've been in situations, and I've been in situations like, wow, we really lost to this team when we shouldn't have because we were better, but we were fucking up, and they took advantage. That's no knock to them, but you go, wow, we had a chance and we dropped the ball. That's all I'm saying.
Let's bring it back to the deep into the quarter, right? The deep into the third quarter, and then you get that punt from the Niners.
Yes.
Then they return for a field. Casey returns it for a field goal.
Yeah.
The Niners punt.
Yep.
Casey punts, and they recover. That was the job. That is the real fuck up. Let's be pretty honest. We can sit and point at Kyle Shanahan. We can put this was the fuck up. They punt the ball.
Yep.
And what's the result? They fuck it up, and they turn around, and then then all of a sudden,
bounced off of one of the players.
Yep, it sure did. It sure did.
Pick it up. Yeah,
Rick, I'm glad you brought that up.
And that's what kills that's what killed the game because think about it.
Yeah,
that's it. But that's special teams. That's one little thing. That's one little detail. So I can't put it on a coach because the biggest fuck up of the game that allowed the Kansas City Chiefs to score is on special teams.
Well, both of them were. They also didn't kick an extra point. We never would have gone to overtime.
Yeah, you're right. It's just, and I'll say this because I wanted to get to this topic too, just because, as you said, Rick, I'm glad you said it. You can't stand the Chiefs doing shit the way that they're doing and the way that they're behaving. I'm with you on that. That's why it makes me damn proud to know, like you said, our beloved Bucs was beating that ass in the Super Bowl. We are the last line of defense to keep them from being a complete tyranny dynasty. Look, we are the Avengers right now, and Kermit is Thanos. He's getting all his fucking rings. We don't want him to be inevitable. We want to shut that bullshit GOAT conversation down. But I want to get to this because this is another reason why I hate this slouchy ass overrated slot receiver. This right here, disrespectful. And I'm going to say this quickly, and I'm going to get this one out of my chest.
Just to wind everyone up, because I know you want to get through it quickly, but
yeah,
he's just going past him, right?
Exactly. He's just passionate. And I'm going to, no, that's beautiful you say that because here's the thing. We've had that in the past. Now I'm going to say this and I'll leave this off because I don't want to get too far ahead, but this is my opinion and I've seen this. I guarantee you this. Lamar Jackson does that shit. It wouldn't go that way. He would have been an asshole or out of line. Anybody else but Kelsey and them do that shit.
I don't know. We've seen
it's passion. No.
We've seen others do it. I don't know.
I've looked at the Twitter feed is that he's an asshole too. I'm just saying it's like some people could argue that.
Rick, if and I know Andy Reid's like kids. I know his son used to be on his like his staff, but I'm gonna tell you this, Slick and Rick. If I was like Andy Reid's son and that shit happened, I would have been like, Dad or whatever. Nah, sit that motherfucker down. You don't do that. First of all, Kelsey, he's lucky I wasn't the coach. His ass would have. He's lucky Belichick wasn't the coach. Belichick would have sat his ass down probably for the rest of the game. And I would have sat him down for 2 series. But at that point, That's inexcusable. And I love how the league is not talking about that. Kelsey was a dickhead.
People have done lip reading videos of it, so I don't know. I think there's plenty of people covering it.
No, but it ain't the what you did was an asshole thing. And I know Andy
that's
Reid,
because it comes down to opinion, because some people think, like you said, some people think it's passion, some people think it's just in the moment, some people think it's a dickish move, right? And I completely agree. But that's what you've got to have. You've got to have all three of those discussions, because there's going to be people who are in different mindsets of what that is.
I think sometimes that exact act fits differently into different team cultures. If you do that on the Panthers, you might completely tear apart the organization, but a steady, well-led group, nobody's questioning Reed just because a player ran into him. Now, somebody runs into Dave Canales, you might say, wait a minute, who's in authority? Nobody's wondering about that in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. And so you can kind of do that there.
I say this, Rick, I don't give a shit where it is.
But let's take it back to another time with our coach, where we had a special teams fuck up and Bruce Arians goes and grabs somebody. So you've got to work it both ways. You can't have it just the one.
Right.
And
I get it, but here's the thing. I am a man of that. If you are a consistent person and you know who you are, that's cool. But when Kelsey did that, I didn't see competitiveness. I saw bitch-made whining. I saw I'm not getting my way.
I didn't see whining. I saw the fact that he felt that he should be out there being one of the people.
But here's the funny thing. They were getting in his ass. So it's anything I could have. If Andy Reid's a better coach than me, I'd be like, first of all, motherfucker, when they were doing short passes, your bitch ass was getting tackled. How about you block for a change? How about you move out something? We were predictable. It happened. Shut the fuck up and get your ass in line, and I'm gonna design shit to help you get better. But first of all, you better keep your punk ass out of my face. And Kelsey, I'm saying it to your little bum ass. You had no right to do that to your coach. That is a grown ass man. You show him respect. Just because your bitch ass was losing early, you got to keep your. You got to keep
it too early in that game as well. I'm
way too early. I don't give a fuck if Taylor was watching. The Swifties don't. They can sit their asses down. My whole point is because I've seen it. You know how I know, Slick? When T.O. was doing that shit against McNabb and the Eagles, they called him a problem, not realizing that's a passionate man. If T.O.'s not there, the Eagles don't go to a fucking Super Bowl. Here's the thing, and I know where the race correlation comes in, but it ain't just about that. It's also about the character, because Mahomes can do certain things like that and get away with it. But my point is, Kelsey, don't overlook that shit. It should have been more. What you did was wrong. That was disrespectful. And again, he's getting a little too ahead of himself. Did you see what he did in Baltimore when he threw Justin Tucker's helmet?
I don't have a problem with it. I've actually looked at that. Here's the thing, and this is why I want to discuss this, because this is something that I don't know how they do it in America, so I'm going to go with how we do it in England. When you warm up, where do you warm up?
Yeah, you warm up typically on the.
You warm up on your own fucking side. So why is he kicking field goals or stretching around in the fucking Chiefs' half? He'll fuck off back to his own side. That's it. That's why I have no problem. They can throw his shit around. They can kick his kicking tee. At first, I was on the same par as you, and I was like, hang on. Why the fuck is there a player in the end zone warming up in the Kansas City Chiefs? I remember reading Warren Sapp's autobiography. He used to warm up, and he used to do his he used to run the length of the length of the field back and forth, and he would get told off by the other team, and he goes, well, this is just what I've always done. And okay, you'd had choice words with certain players or whatever, and wind a few people up, and this is just what that did. You're not allowed to do it, but it's considered disrespectful. It's frowned upon. So if you go into another team's half and you're even if you're warming up, you're just in the way. So like he could have sat at the 50 and started booting field goals to his own fucking unit. So I have no problem with it.
Oh no. The reason
he did like a dickhead doing it though. He was kind of like, fuck this.
The reason why I have a problem with it is because Kelsey is the type of punk ass person where when they return the energy, Now he wants to get upset, and like you just saw, he throws tantrums. I go, for me, if I do some dickhead shit like that, I have to, like you said, even the great Sapp understood, hey, I did what I did. Because I'm glad you said that. During the Super Bowl run in 2002, when he was dancing at the Steelers line, remember with Jerome Betts and them, and the Bucs got their asses whooped. Sapp did not complain. He said, I did what I did, and they whooped us for that. But Kelce doesn't have that type of integrity and honor. He is still that young, immature guy that now that he's got all the attention.
Yeah, I mean, his part is the party frat boy, isn't it? So
yeah, well, he's the wannabe frat boy. He's the guy. Well, I'm gonna hang with the tougher crowd and look like I'm something. When your ass grew up, your brother Jason Kelce, y'all grew up the same fucking way. One of them just decided to go the mature route, and you want to be the street punk route. But if I smack your fucking ass, you're gonna turn right back into that suburbanized. Oh my God, I was assaulted. So that is my thing about Kelce. Don't be a poser, because then when you behave like that, it shows who you really are. Like, in my opinion, I think he's an immature brat punk ass jerk, and he got away with it because of the organization that he's on. And I don't appreciate that, because when I saw this again, shit like this makes my blood boil, because I've coached. Slick, I tell you this right now. Let a player walk up.
I've never had a coach. I've never had a player do that to me. I've had a few choice words with players in the past. I've never had that level.
Oh no, Slick, I've seen it before. And between me and you, a guy said something to one of our coaches, and my coach said, "Oh, okay," and he was like, "All right, I'll be right back." You know what the coach did? He came out with pads and shit on. And he said, since you think you can do it like this, how about you tackle me? The coach put him on his ass. Not once, not twice, but thrice. And then got into his face. Now, mind you, humility set in, and he grabbed the player by the face and said, yeah, he said, and I took it easy on you, boy. He said, what you going to do when someone's your age and they're twice as aggressive and they fuck you up? He said, don't you ever disrespect me like that again. I'm here to help you. And after that, that player was an angel, Slick, because he was, and he apologized at the end of the season. Coach, I apologize for disrespecting you that way. I was in my feelings. I was emotional. He said, I can respect that. He said, but you see what I mean. That is what my point about the situation with Kelce.
I completely get you.
Yeah, I took that as an insult, because I guarantee you, anybody else does that shit, Slick, they're not gonna get away with that. They would have been called. They would have been.
It depends on the coach's relationship with the player.
Okay,
I think that's fair.
Okay. But either way, in my opinion, that was some punk ass shit. And
I agree. I'm in the same ballpark. I didn't like it.
Bad optics.
Way, man. The Swifties are watching. I look like a fucking asshole right now.
Bad optics.
That's what he probably said. I'm looking like an asshole right now. My girl is watching. She's gonna make a song about this. I'm not looking good. God damn it. Come on, coach. See, and again, he couldn't have been if he was my dad out there. Like I said, I know Reed's sons used to work on the staff. I would have had to be like, hey, get your ass off my dad, bro. Like,
unfortunately, his son's probably in fucking prison because he fucking killed somebody while driving.
I know, exactly.
So he's not exactly one person to fucking talk, is he?
I know, but
at the end of the day, they'll figure that shit out, because I'm pretty sure Coach Reed isn't that soft.
Oh no, I'm sure Coach Reed behind the scenes probably said, "Hey, I only let you
again, boy."
Yeah, he said, I'm sure Reed probably had his mustache out here like this. Now listen here, don't do that shit again. You're lucky that this was the Super Bowl. He probably was like, if this was the playoffs or regular season, your ass would have got benched. Yeah, cut that shit out. Don't let Miss Superstar get you fucked up in here, because you can't get kicked off this team. And I'm sure Kelce said, Coach, that will never happen again. Oh, I agree. I think Andy Reid probably chewed him out and said, don't do that shit again. But I just had to throw that out there.
No, I get you, because I'm a firm believer as well. I mean, it was disrespectful. There ain't no two ways about it. I can also see the passion in it. There's passion in it, but it's still disrespectful. It's poor discipline. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And some coaches may have may have like stuck him on the sidelines. Obviously, it's the biggest game of the season. You don't want, and he does end up going on to have quite a drive, especially in the touchdown winning drive, and also the drive that sets them up for the field goal to take them to overtime.
Yeah, you're right.
He was instrumental in their win in the end.
And Rick, you're right. You have a point too about depending on the coach's team. But when I say players, it's not just about race. If you don't have the I would say the accolades of Kelsey, you can't get away with that. Slick and
I agree, but he does have those accolades. He does have the history with Reed. Reed does have that Wilford Brimley diabetes look, that it's just kind of he's gonna interact with you. He's gonna be the guy, just a guy you have a beer with and you can yuck it up with. He's got that. I mean, interaction with them where he just wants his nuggies. I mean, there's already this whole built relationship thing that, okay, you ran into me. Okay, I'm going to make a smart ass response. And then what do you want? I mean, there's just a different response with those guys than there is with a newer team or anything like that. I mean, Baker runs into Todd Bowles. That's different.
Mm-hmm. I can see Todd saying, "Well, we just had a moment right there, and we're okay now." But things like that,
I reckon he could be quite far if someone fucking ran into him. I reckon.
Now I can see him just doing this.
You gotta remember, he played in the league, and he's won a Super Bowl as a player.
Oh, I know. No, I would have loved to see Kelsey try that shit with Arians. Arians would. First of all, Arians would have got his yak and threw that shit in his face and been like, "Get your ass out of here. Who you think you're talking to?" I could just see him doing that, and I can see Belichick would have been mafia style. Oh, okay. Sit him down and then be like, yeah, we're gonna run your name out. I'm gonna talk to other owners and make sure your ass don't get a good deal. You're gonna get that veteran salary. Because look, if Belichick was willing to trade Gronk to Detroit, you got to be, look, coach, there's just, you're right, Rick. Maybe there's just some coaches that you just know, okay, I can't get away with that shit. And it is repertoire. But for me, I still think it's some punk ass shit, but that's just me. I don't hide my feelings about Kelsey.
No,
Kelsey, I'm gonna tell you, Kelsey and Leftwich are literally right here. And Leftwich, them two are right there. I'm like the President's Club, them two fuckers are right there. And Mahomes, again, he gets on my nerves, but his results back up.
Don't get me wrong. You can't this, and I hate to say it because there's something majestic about his play. Not when he speaks. When he speaks, fucking hell. But there's like a level of smoothness about how he plays in big moments, in big times. A team will score a touchdown. I'm obviously not us, but teams in the past will score a touchdown. It's like 30 seconds to go and they need a field goal just to tie the game to get it to overtime or win. And boom, 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 done. It is so clutch. And he's, so exciting to watch. He's an annoying person.
Yes.
But nobody can doubt that guy's fire, his purpose, and the effort that he puts into everything that he does. I mean, I think he's got a bang up average looking wife. Personally, I call her the enigma. Because sometimes I look at her and go, she's hot. And there's other times I look at her, she is not hot. She is the ultimate enigma because there are times I look at her, I can see why he's with her. Yeah, I ain't up there together since high school, whatever, blah, 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 blah. There are times like, damn, keep that shit away from me. That's a crypt keeper.
I think it's the people in his camp too for Mahomes.
That guy's fucking Achilles fucking heels is his brother, his father, and his fucking wife.
Yeah, it's just now.
His entire support system is a bunch of fucking retards.
Right.
What will I do just before my son goes to a Super Bowl? I'll get caught driving drunk.
Exactly.
Well done. Well the fuck done for that.
And then you got now
Hey, you're an asshole for doing it because
facts.
what
Facts.
happens if you fucking kill somebody? Somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to go to a fucking morgue and identify their fucking child or their lover or their partner or their husband or their wife and go, yeah, that's my child. Well, my home's fucking. Well, I had a good time, man.
Exactly. It's an
You
embarrassing.
live in the world of Uber and you're rich. Stop it.
Exactly. And also, what if you take yourself? What if you lose your own life? How do you think that mentally could affect your son and the rest of your family? Can you imagine Mahomes having to fucking play a football game?
Right. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
Banned for life from driving. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Banned for life because I can't trust you to be in front of a car anymore. I just can't. If I take away the car, you're not going to kill anybody. Job done.
Well, yeah, or I'd suspend your license at least 5. I'd suspend the license at least 5 to 10 years and be like, okay.
I could do a 10 years, 10 years is a life sentence, right? So 10 years on a fucking car, you go from being a 20-year-old idiot to a 30-year-old man or a 30-year-old woman. I can understand. You got yourself clean or whatever. You can prove shit.
Oh yeah, no,
maybe.
Oh yeah, no, and that's what I mean by that, because at that point, like you said, it's just when it comes to his people like around him, but sometimes when he complains and bitches, that makes me. But here's
a referee.
Brady used to do it too. Brady used to do it too.
Of course, because the greats know that their voice has a bit of power. Yeah. They know, like, Aaron Rodgers can turn and go, "What the fuck, you ain't calling that?" And they'll go, "Yeah, he knows better than me."
But here's what makes Mahomes to me inexcusable. You're in a fucking era where you don't have to worry about what Brady, what Roethlisberger, what Warren Moon and Joe and them had to go through. You ain't got to worry about nobody knocking your fucking head off. Hell, if anything, your defenses are at a disadvantage far more than they ever been. And you still bitch when you get tapped. That's what kills me. It's the same thing, like you said, with Kelsey and them in college ball. Crossing routes wouldn't work in college if they played college rules because you get fucked up.
They will. You just can't live off them. They've got to be unexpected, right, yeah. Right.
But for Kelsey, that's what I feel like. It's like you're in an advantage because Mahomes is not going to get his head.
He throws in the middle of the field. In the old days, you would not throw in the middle of the field because somebody like Ray Lewis was going to fucking eat you alive.
Exactly. That's another thing. That's why when people talk about Kelsey being top 5, I'm like, he didn't play like, and I know you got to go by, he can't help the era. But here's the thing:
he's one of the. Don't get me wrong, he's one of the greatest, what they call tight ends now, of his era. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's an amazing player. He's got great hands. Yep. He's got very good at manipulating his body in the air and catching balls. He is fantastic at it. He's annoying as fucking hell. But he gives kudos to my boy Levante David and says
as he should. Levante again, guys. It goes back to the Buccaneers. Again, that's
the one thing I do like about Travis Kelce. He gives kudos to other players.
He does.
So he's great in himself, and he's like, yeah, that fucking dude. He fucking manhandled me. It was fucking shit, or whatever. He will give people their props. He's not an ego player when it comes to others. Like, I think he's a trash talker because everyone trash talks to a degree.
Right. Because that's what.
But he's like after the game, and then it's like, what was it like playing in the Super Bowl against the Bucs? Oh man, they gave us a fucking beating out of Levante David.
Yeah, and he had to give him respect.
Like, fuck.
I would love to show Kelsey this. Like, man, we don't like y'all because this is how the world treats you. That's what we don't like.
I think that's the problem, isn't it? He does get a lot of calls that go his way. There's
Exactly. That's
probably told his dad that he
like that. That's my point. See, this is why Kelsey, we don't fuck with y'all like that, because this is exactly what happens, and you get this kind of love. But hey, it is what it is. But I'll say this too, to get off of this. Like, that's another thing that we got to stop. It's the GOAT. He's mathematically, and Keith said this. The dude said this. Mathematically speaking, he ain't there yet. And Slick has said this, guys. You gotta wait till people's career finishes.
Don't get me wrong. Mahomes is already a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely, 100%.
Is he the greatest of all time? I don't know.
Hell no.
He very well could be though. He's on the trajectory.
But you don't want to know what's funny? Remember,
Do you know when you go? When you surpass the original GOAT.
exactly, and you got
to pass him first. You can't be in the conversation. It's like LeBron, right? We talk about LeBron. LeBron hasn't played defense for almost a fucking decade. He just shoots balls and gives balls to and assists balls. That's it. He hasn't played fucking defense because the last time he was on a defensive fucking third team was 10 years ago.
And another, and he also, when you play with top 10 players or top 20 players on your team, that's another thing. When you have people that help you that are at that same level or just a small, it kind of takes it away. And that's what I mean. But Slick, you said it best. Let his career finish out first. We've seen certain things where people start off hot and then all of a sudden,
you know what it is. You are absolutely right in that. But you know what it is, and you'll agree with me on this. It's having that take. It's having that he's the greatest of all time, and then everyone go, whoa, and then you can turn around and go, remember when I said this? Fucking 2015 or 2000 whatever date it was. You can turn around and go, I called him the GOAT then. Now you're calling him the GOAT. I called it first.
I agree. And
that's all it is. And it's why people say generational talent after generation. Do you know who was a generational talent and we don't talk about anymore? Ezekiel Elliott. Generational talent when he came into the league. And don't get me wrong, his first few years in the league, he was exactly that. And then he just got worse and worse and worse because the running back position wears you the fuck out. Which is amazing on how these players played the running back position decades ago, a decade before him.
I stand correct by it. And here's the thing. I like how you brought up Ezekiel because it's funny. I told people as soon as the line got worse, he got worse. So what does that tell you? Sometimes when you rely on certain things, it exposes who you are. As you just said in the 90s, Thurman Thomases of the world, Edgerrin Jameses of the world. Yeah, these guys, they didn't need a great line all the time. They made shit happen with or without. To me, that's
Harry fucking Sanders with a fucking
there it is. To
5 dustbins lined up in front of him and still fucking making yards.
And you said it again about narratives. Because I'm gonna give you a good example. Brady is a perfect example. People don't realize it took Brady after his 3rd Super Bowl. He didn't go to a fucking Super Bowl for 10 years. I don't think people realize that, but that's my point.
It can happen.
What if that happens to Mahomes? And it's a possibility because here's the reason. Kelsey is getting old. Chris Jones might not stay. They don't have.
I think once he loses his security blanket, Reed
and Kelsey,
Reed. I was gonna say Gronk. Fucking Reed and Kelsey are gone. It's a completely different world.
And that's my point, and it's going to happen because Kelsey is getting up there in age.
Wrong. If he does, if he wins 1 Super Bowl after those 2 are gone, you may have to christen him the GOAT.
You may have to. If he wins 2 more without them, then we can talk 2 more because mathematically you got to at least.
No, you still about that, but I'm saying the fact that he's been able to go from a whole new coach.
And
a whole new and a whole new tight end or a whole new whatever the new system is because Tyreek Hill's gone, so that everyone was saying, you said at the beginning, last year was the team. They were the team you had the opportunity to beat them. This year was the team that you had the opportunity to beat them, but it's not happened yet. It's not happened yet.
No,
and they are primed. I think if they do the free-peat, that may put him into that even closer to that conversation. He gets the free-peat and everyone retires, and then somewhere in his career he gets one more, and so he goes only 5 Super Bowls. I think you could potentially go down that route. Going, could he be the GOAT? He may not have the 7, but he has the free-peat, and he survived, and he scored, and he won 1 with his club.
He does a three-peat. If he does a three-peat, he will be in GOAT standings just because of that. Because first of all, that will be the first.
Pretty much top. Is he one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league in all time? In your opinion?
Not yet.
Top 3.
Top 3, no, not yet.
Give me your top 3.
Brady, Montana, Peyton Manning.
Okay.
He's not those three yet because here's the
Okay.
thing.
So you're giving Peyton Manning his past. You're putting Peyton Manning there because of his longevity and what he's done for the game.
And Peyton
He's
Manning.
got only two, right? He's only got the two.
And Peyton Manning was a game changer of the game of
Yeah,
football.
because he had so many years, right?
Right,
So
but he also redefined it with his skills. Put it this way, regular season, I'd say regular season, Peyton Manning was the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. You wasn't fucking with that team, and you wasn't fucking with like the Omaha shit, the way that he changed how defensive coordinators had to literally stay up all night, the way he changed the game and the offenses. And even when he went to Denver, people forget, even though the Legion of Boom embarrassed him, that he's threw like 50 fucking touchdowns with that squad. That's what I'm saying. He was great, not only one team, but another. Same for Brady. Joe Montana.
So would you put Mahomes fourth?
No, I would give it to Elway because Elway was tougher. Elway was tougher, and again, Elway
but
played
that last Super Bowl, he was dragged.
Oh, he was, but
he
was. But here's the thing: again, he still made an effort, and he played in an era where quarterbacks were getting knocked on their asses. I'd put him top four, and I think your point making about Peyton Manning is just the sheer volume of what he did, rather than because he ain't got the championships, but he's got the MVPs, he's got the other things that go into it as well. Right.
So.
I'll give you a perfect example. It's like how people don't give the young people don't give Charles Barkley and his credit because he doesn't have chips, but they don't realize he redefined his position and his play skills were so. Put it this way, he was so great it had to take MJ to stop him. That's what makes him great. It only one player kept Barkley from being the big champion, and that was MJ. In a way, that's what I feel about Peyton Manning. It took Brady to keep him from being the GOAT. Can you imagine this? What if Brady played in the NFC? Peyton Manning would have 5 to 6 rings because he would have been unstoppable.
You could argue that the Super Bowl would have been the Manning versus Tom Brady Bowl.
I rest my case. And we don't know how that is because if Brady doesn't have Belichick at that time, I tell people the first 3 Super Bowls was I think 50-50 more, and I might give an edge to Belichick, maybe because he had a defense, but the rest of them, no, they were Brady. But for Peyton was winning them shits because Peyton never had a complete team like Brady. Peyton, his biggest star on defense was Dwight Freeney, one man. Bob Sanders, I don't give him credit because that motherfucker was hurt half the time. Mathis came deep, and then of course when Peyton went to the Denver Broncos, we know that team carried him. But yeah,
the first year they went to the Super Bowl that they lost, they were a fucking powerhouse.
Oh, absolutely. It's just unfortunately the Legion of Boom was a powerhouse, and Marshawn Lynch was the engine that kept Russell from having to be great. Russell Wilson was a game manager at that point of his career. Marshawn was the fucking engine. In a way, that's what made Seahawks. They brought back the old school, having a strong defense and a strong run game. If there's no Marshawn Lynch,
a capable quarterback that if you need to use him,
quarterback, right? It ain't like Russell Wilson never had an elite receiver. I
think that's what the Ravens are trying to do right now. Have a solid run game. Have a quarterback that can be a game. Have a quarterback that can be a game changer and have the defense. That's what they're trying to do.
It won't work in this era because this is more of an offensive era. At least it ain't working. That shit ain't working anymore.
Nowadays, you need to have a capable running back, but a good quarterback.
There it is. A capable running back. You said it. But you
doesn't have to be one of the top. He just needs to be efficient when he needs to be.
Yep, and he also got to block. Now, that's another thing. If you don't have a back that can block, you're screwed. People go, no, AJ. Oh, yes, it is. Because if I know you can't
going to come up against a team, what are you going to do a team who overloads one side?
Exactly. What if you have a Spagnolia or a Bowles guy? I'm going to blitz, and you can't block. Now you're putting pressure. No. If anything, nowadays, it's more important that your back can block better than he can run almost. Because now with the passing era we're in, you want that running back to give your quarterback that little extra second. That's why Fournette, I love when Fournette blocked. He'll fuck you up. Ask Michael Parsons. He's like, look, but no, when it comes to Mahomes, I'm gonna put him in the top 5, but I cannot give him. I will not put him.
I'll give him top. I'll be different. I'll give him top 4, but yeah, I'll get you.
I give him top 5 because he's still got to do more. Because again, it wouldn't surprise me when Kelsey and Reed retires that he doesn't win another Super Bowl or he only gets one more. It won't surprise me.
He gets that free-peat and they retire.
He gets a free-peat.
I completely get where you go, but he gets that free-peat. He's top 3.
Oh, absolutely. He gets a 3-peat, top 3. You
can argue he's top 2 at that point.
Yeah, at that point,
the argument is between him and Montana. Then,
at that point, he passes Elway hands down. Now he does that, but I agree 100%. But this is why the Bucs are the only threat. We're the only hope to stop this son of a bitch, guys.
He's got a blemish on his career. He's got a blemish on his career. There's one Super Bowl he couldn't get,
and that's why I'm glad you said it.
Competing for this could have been bowl number 4, not bowl number 3, and he'd be looking at.
And he got beat down by the actual GOAT.
That means he would have gone back to back twice, wouldn't it? He'd have gone back to back now, back to back again, and then he'd be looking to get a free-peat.
That's my point. That's another thing.
And then you got that free-peat with the double.
Exactly.
Instant goat.
But here's the thing. You just said it, Slick. That beatdown, that's a big-ass blemish. That's not a little blemish. That's a big-ass blemish because it showed even when you had the squad that you had, which was fucking loaded, and you still had Honey Badger when everybody and for people can say, oh, he was at the end of his career. He still was a guy to be a force to be known. You still couldn't beat the GOAT, and you got beat bad once you were figured out. And you know why I say this? Mahomes got an old school football ass whooping because they didn't call a lot of penalties. So that's why for me, Mahomes, what happens when you play stout defenses that get in your face and make you uncomfortable? Yeah, you'll throw the tricks and shit, but it's still incomplete. What happens when you play that type of defense? Mahomes has not proven to me yet that you can play a legit, solid, physical defense just yet. Again, that blemish hurts, which is why I fucking love it, Slick. That blemish, he would have that. Now, I'm not going to lie. Now, I'm not going to lie. A 3-peat, that would erase it. It would, in a way, erase it. But if the Bucs, this is why the Bucs are the only hope to stop these bastards. This is why the Bucs have got to draft. This year's draft.
Of an R2D2 pointing out the blueprints of a Raymond James Stadium going, help me, Buccaneers. You're my only hope.
Yes. The Bucs are literally your only hope because you got the one coach that knows how to handle this man.
And has done it.
And here's the thing. It'll be easier. People be like, how is it easier, AJ? Tyreek Hill's not on the fucking squad. Now, unless if they draft another Tyreek Hill, that's a whole different ball game. But even then, the Bucs, I tell people this, when the Bucs are on, they're on. It don't matter who the other team is. We have the answers. This is another reason why, Slick, this year's draft is going to be just as important. If we have the 2023 draft of the 2024, shit, them Bucs team, and then our free agency, let's say if we get an above average pass rusher, with Yaya coming into his own, with Canty coming into his own, with Antoine Winfield being where he is, oh, shit. And with the NFC still being wide open, your biggest threat is going to be possibly Detroit, Dallas, San Fran, maybe. But that sounds like good odds to me, Slick. We were just the number 4 seed. Shit is looking good for the Bucs next season, man. If we fucking knock
right, gotta get that second. Gotta get that. I would go and get that safety, and then go buy yourself a pass rusher if you can.
I think we got to buy a pass rusher. I'm with you 100%. You got to buy a pass rusher, and even if he's above average, that helps your defense so much. And let's say we knock it out of the fucking park and we get a safety that complements Antoine Winfield. That would be some Legion of Boom shit. Can you imagine Antoine and just have someone that complements him? That's a better coverage guy, bruh. we will be dog. Like again, and Canty and if we stay healthy and Yaya gets in his own, I can see Yaya by next season having between 10 to 14 sacks. I see Canty having somewhere between 6 to 9. And of course, Vita is going to be Vita. He'll have just 5 or 6 just for the fuck of it. And when people think that's not a lot, I tell you, for a nose tackle, anything over 5 sacks, you're doing a hell of a job. That's why
It's absolutely criminal that he doesn't get his nods for the Pro Bowl, and I think they don't bring in nose tackles. They bring in the best 2 defensive tackles, and that's unfair because if you're going against a forefront, you got a nose tackle. If you're going in a free front, you've got a nose tackle, and your DT is probably playing a 5.
Yeah, but again, because it's not sexy, and then if you don't run your mouth. See, a lot of people, what made Sapp great is that he did both. He talked shit, but he also backed it up. He was loud, so the pressure was on him. If he
free safeties can be a little bit louder because they are pass rushers in general, right? So they can the opportunity for them to go and get those double-digit sack years does exist, yeah. Or they're going to get 8, but like you said, 4 sacks is considered. I'd say for a nose tackle, 4 sacks is good. 5 to 6 is great, and elite would be anything more.
And that's why Chris Jones
gets 6 on a regular basis.
Yeah, Chris Jones gets 10, and motherfuckers go. I'm like, do you understand? 10 sacks is like if an outside edge rusher got 17 to 18. That is how Chris. That's why Chris Jones is valuable. But again, with Vita, when Vita gets 6 sacks, I'll be looking at people like, y'all don't understand. His job is not to be a pass rusher. His job is just to fucking stuff.
His job is to suck in blockers so other people can make the sack.
And so he's the junkyard man. So when he makes other things, but this is why, again, I say this and I mean it. And I have the facts to prove it. Your Buccaneers, guys, are the last hope to beat a team like this. Don't be surprised, Slick, if we draft well, that we are in a position, because it's not out of the question that the Chiefs can't get back to the Super Bowl. They did it again without a lot of their defense got better. And if
defense got better, realistically, if they can keep a lot of the people together, I think they got some salary cap issues. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah,
if they go and get themselves a wide receiver, they could definitely do some damage.
Yeah. Now the only thing that would hurt, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm praying for this. If Chris Jones leaves, that fucks up their entire interior line. They're not gonna find a replacement soon.
Unless saw how well they played with him when he didn't sign. That he held out for that game. He fucking signed on the dotted line the next day.
This is true, but look what happened though. His impact was good. If he's not in this Super Bowl, they don't win it. So that's how big of an impact.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If he's not in this Super Bowl, they lose, and they lose bad. That's why I say this, but this is why the Bucs fans, I know, like, again, the Bucs matter in this. The Bucs get a fucking another knockout draft like we just did in 2023. We could be the team where America goes, yo, Tampa Bay is actually, guys, we are Tampa Bay fans today. Beat the Chiefs. And can you imagine the fucking story on that?
Yeah.
He goes back and goes against this team that humiliated him. And if the Bucs humiliate him again, now I'm gonna tell you,
just win. You know,
if the Bucs humiliate him again, Slick, that knocks him out of the top 5, and that'll keep him in the top 10. Mark my words. If he were to get beat like that again by the Bucs, that knocks him out of the top 5. You put him in top 10. That's why it's imperative that our Buccaneers get their shit together this season, because the Vegas talking about we're going to get 6.5 wins. It's like, have you not learned your lesson yet? You're talking about Bowles with a third year with more salary cap room, more money to spend, 6 wins. And if they
you've got to remember, Vegas is going to base this off the fact we haven't signed anybody yet. So
yeah, they're being hoes, but really,
I can believe that. I can believe what they're saying. If we don't sign, if we resign half of what we're supposed to resign, I could believe that. I genuinely could. But if we resign everything that we're supposed, our wish list. Our wish list is Baker. Our wish list is Evans and
Winfield.
Antoine Winfield Jr.
Now
we know we can leave Wirfs out for one more year because he does have the option year.
yes.
But we'd like to get him signed.
Fuck yeah, I would love for him to not worry. I won't worry.
I want Greg Gaines back as well.
Oh, I agree. Now, I do think now, if I'm a GM, and Slick, I want to ask you this, and we'll wrap this up soon, guys. I know we're out here talking, but the Super Bowl's over. We already explained that shit, so you need to go back and check it out because we broke that down already. We told y'all what was going to happen. But when it comes to the Buccaneers, if I'm Light and Glazer, you want to get a deal done with Baker and Evans and Winfield ASAP. The reason why you don't want Marsh to get around without signing anything, because that's when the market is going to truly open. You don't want Baker and Evans to get somebody's going to throw some dollars at them. Now, you know what I said about for Evans? If I'm an organization, what if they were smart? If I'm Baltimore, I'm fucking calling Evans. I'd be like, look, we need you. We got a quarterback that is mobile, as you can see, a two-time MVP guy. He is just missing one receiver like yourself to make us a Super Bowl contender. That's how valuable Evans is. He goes anywhere, they're Super Bowl contenders. If he goes to Baltimore, they're a Super Bowl contender. Because
he may as well write the check now.
Don't do that. I can't hold you. If fucking Evans went to the fucking Chiefs with Mahomes, they're not a 3-peat, they're a 5-peat.
Yeah,
you're a 5-peat. You're not beating that team because then at that point
you may be christening Mike Evans as the greatest wide receiver ever.
And at that point, you're giving Kelsey, you're adding years to his career because he won't be the guy that they always got to throw to. Oh God, can you imagine Evans and Kelsey lined up? It wouldn't be fucking fair. So we're not going to speak on that evil. No,
that's an evil.
I might actually park in front of the Chiefs Stadium and boycott that shit like the hippies did in the 60s, laying on the ground. Evans is not playing today, y'all. Run me over. But no, the Texans could want him.
Texans
could want him. Shit, the Chargers could get him.
Nah, I don't think the Chargers will. But
I'm just saying.
I wouldn't be surprised. Dallas, Houston,
Baltimore.
I think they're legit people that could go for it.
That's my point. If he goes to those teams, Super Bowls, they are Super Bowl.
I think it might be with a little bit longer with Houston. Just it will take a minute.
I'd say it only take another year. It take 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'd do it the first year. I think you'd be looking at it seriously the second.
Oh yeah, no. By Stroud's third year, they're going to a Super Bowl. Now, winning, I don't know. But Baltimore, if he goes to Baltimore, they're immediately going to the Super Bowl. They will be because Evans will be the hump that he could beat the Chiefs because his double coverage. And here's the thing: let's say if Baltimore is smart, they draft first round receiver that's just average, you're good to go now. You're good to go. If you get an average receiver that's how great Evans is. Evans is so good. If that guy it'll be like the Eagles. AJ Brown for Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith goes off when AJ Brown can really go off. So that's my point. Evans, that's how valuable he is. So you got to sign him back. Baker, sign him back. You sign Baker. Yeah, you sign those three. Guess who will say, "Oh, I'll give it one more year"? Levante David. Levante will say, "We're close. I'll give it one more year." And I don't know why, Slick. Maybe it's still the bitterness in me. I think Detroit is gonna go backwards. I know it's a stretch. That's my hot take. I just think it's gonna get to a point where they get figured out. I think the Detroit's going to pull the Atlanta. Remember when Atlanta, after that 28-3 drop, that's why we're warning Detroit fans, like, guys, just be thankful your team got to where they got because they could be that Atlanta. And look, Atlanta ain't been the same since.
Nope.
So, and the NFC is still wide open. There's no elite quarterbacks.
Atlanta was so bad they allowed the Saints to take over.
Right. Exactly, the taints, and then and look, and another reason that is the Bucs need to get to the Super Bowl. the Super Bowl is going to be held in New Orleans next year.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine winning in New Orleans? I will be there for that shit. Now, I'm not going to front. I will save up for that shit. Slick, if the Bucs get to the fucking Super Bowl in New Orleans, I got to get there. I got to be there. Even if I can't afford to get in there, I will be outside that fucking stadium. Oh, man. Can you imagine just winning in New Orleans, a Super Bowl in New Orleans? Oh, man. And look, I hope we do so well if we get there. The power goes out again at the end of the game, of course. Man, so it is imperative, guys. Next season is anybody's thing, especially NFC. Isn't it crazy? There's no true elite quarterback in the NFC. Isn't that's what makes the NFC, in my opinion, a lot more interesting? It's anybody's game. Name me one elite quarterback in the NFC. You can't.
I can't. I genuinely can't give you somebody who's Patrick Mahomes level. I can't give you somebody that's Lamar Jackson's level. I can't give you someone that's technically even. I mean, CJ Stroud is too early, so I don't want to say that guy's name. Let's go Josh Allen. These guys are game-changing level quarterbacks.
Even really. Joe Burrow when he's healthy.
Joe Burrow as well. So they got four. They got four over there. We haven't got one. We haven't got one that we can turn around and say that is the dude. The closest person is probably Hurts, realistically.
And here's the thing. That's still debatable because some people will say, well, Dak Prescott puts up numbers just like him. And I rest my case. But you get what I'm saying? The NFC is wide fucking open. And Jared Goff has never been
this last year as well, and look where we got to.
And look.
This last year, and we look where we got to. We beat a team that's got one of these a Super Bowl bound quarterback. We kicked his ass, made him look stupid. He didn't have his wide receiver with him, and all of a sudden he reverted back to what he was before.
And here's the thing: the Bucs showed you.
That's the thing with Mahomes, though. You take away okay, he's got Travis Kelce. We know that. That is the constant, right? And that's why we're saying once he's gone and Reed is gone, that's when you're really going to see how great he truly is. Because if he continues to have success without them, then you can't make. There's no argument.
No, then I shut the hell up. If he's successful without Andy Reid and Kelce, and he wins 2 more Super Bowls, then you got to go. All right, damn it, Mahomes is. You
look at that offensive line that they got in Philly. It's one of the best, if not the best.
Agreed.
2 good wide receivers, 1 great wide receiver, 1, I would say, a good wide, a Chris Godwin-esque level in Devontae Smith. They're in that ballpark of each other.
Yeah. I'd say he's
tight ends better than what we got. In all fairness, on paper,
on
paper, their running back core is better than what we've got. They've got the line, so he is surrounded by a lot of ammunition, and you take out one guy and it all went wrong.
And they fall apart. Right. And another thing too, the Bucs showed you that they can adapt to coordinators. This will be our 3rd new coordinator. That's what makes this Bucs team so special. We have the talent and ability
to go to the playoffs again. Even if we just go to the playoffs and win a playoff game, 3 different offensive coordinators, 3 different times of reaching the playoffs, same head coach.
Exactly. And our buddy had told you guys already about Liam Cohen, which you got to check that last episode out, that he knows how to play to the player's strength. So that had me giddy already. You should have seen me on the show. I was like, wait a minute, he plays to their strength. Travis May, guys, told you what it is. And you got to follow Travis May if you don't know. FF_Travism on Twitter. TRAVISM if you guys can't spell. But anywho, that's my point. If Cohen does half of what he says he's gonna do with this offense, and now I know he told Bowles, I'm gonna run the ball, coach. Even if it's 3rd and 16, 3rd and 29, I'm gonna run. If he finds a way to say, I only said that shit to get your attention, but this is what we're going to do and why it works, and Bowles goes, well, that seems pretty fair, and I'm going to get this defense going the way it's supposed to be. Oh, man. Look, we are literally, guys, a safety, a center, and an edge rusher away from being contenders. Now, I know a lot of people think that's a lot. Not really. There are a lot of teams that wish that they were in the Bucs position. And if Baker stays and he has another year under his belt and another repertoire with Evans.
Hardest thing to get is the quarterback. Hardest thing to get is the quarterback.
The hardest thing to get is the quarterback. And if Baker stays and he wants to stay, Evans goes, oh, I don't want to go anywhere else. I got something here. And hell, he does that. Levante goes, guys, Levante can pull a Ray Lewis. Do you know what Ray Lewis did when they won the second Super Bowl? He told the team, after this, I'm done, guys. And they want to win it for Ray. What if Levante goes into Tampa and says, guys, I'm done after this season. So how about we fucking go out on top? And better yet, we're in the playoffs now. The Chiefs are going to go to the Super Bowl. I want to be able to say that I stopped them not once but twice. Let's make it happen. Now that's a story. I'm winning that shit for him. I'm winning that shit. That's why it's imperative. The NFL in America needs the Bucs. You want us to stop. You want us to stop.
Let's stop the dynasty, guys. Stop the dynasty at some point. Let's stop that ball rolling. We're gonna end up being. We're gonna be the New York Giants.
Yes, we want to be the Avengers. We want to be the one when Thanos thinks I'm inevitable and snaps his fingers, and we're the Tony Starks, and we got the rings in our hand going,
oh yeah,
I am Iron Man. That is what I want, guys. Look, Kansas City needs to be stopped. They really do. Look, right now, if this was the Matrix, they are the Bucs are Neo. We're the one. We are the ones that's going to take you guys out and save you from this fucking tyranny. Don't nobody want to see. Do you really want to see Taylor Swift next season again doing this? Dancing with Ice Spice, and Ice Spice did not know what the fuck she was talking about when she was looking at football. She should have been watching Nickelodeon, so they was explaining how the damn plays are going. Yes, when they are offsides, they are neutrals on infraction. Boots 5 yards back, and fucking Sandy out here talking with the damn outfit on, even though she was out of water. So, guys, the Buccaneers are your last hope. And again, let's just, before we wrap, I'm going to wrap this up, but Mahomes is not the GOAT yet. First of all, he didn't even beat the GOAT when he was playing. He's 0-3 when it comes to playing him when it matters. Give him time. Now, if he does a three-peat,
we can have that conversation.
We can have that conversation, but right now, very good player, top 5 quarterback of all time. I told you already, give me Brady, give me Peyton, give me Elway, and give me Joe. Well, no, Brady, Joe, Peyton, then Elway. And then I will consider, then I put Mahomes there because, again, we forget a guy like Marino, and that's another conversation, but he was a guy that if he had a defense, he might have been something special. But, but on that note, guys, we've been chopping it up, and but we're gonna be back because now we're gonna have to talk about free agency again, and we'll talk about when the Bucs really need to make this happen and get these guys back together so we can make this happen. But again, always check us out, and again, we got to get Slick an opportunity. So watch It's About Buck and Time. Give Coach Slick an opportunity and just watch his accolades. And even if he doesn't get it, we want him to. You got to watch him because he knows the game. And you can always check me out on It's About Buck and Time on YouTube channel. Go to my page, AJ Turnup, and you get some fly merchandise right here. Sticks of fire. From Tampa, you know what that means. That's Native American for Tampa.
Yes,
and
sir.
Always, you take care of yourself. Go Bucs, and Slick, I will see you later on this week, my man.
Yeah, man. Look after yourself. There we go, guys. That is the end of the show. So I hope everyone's doing well, and the Super Bowl is done. We have a hiatus of probably a few weeks before we start talking draft. Oh, free agency first, and then the draft. Your mock drafts will be coming in. Who we're going to re-sign, who's not going to get re-signed, how much money we're going to spend, how big of a splash is this Buccaneers team going to make into free agency, and will they have another great draft class as they did in 2023? But for now, Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucs!